wrong with our recommendations, but we won this 3-2. And
Mm.
gotta say, about this one, I don't know. We'll talk about how the match was and what to make of it, but a win is a win. First trophy of the season, get in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Flick remains unbeaten in finals. He's never lost a final in his career. So that tradition is retained tonight. And what a game! What a game! Because I'm still shaking, to be honest with you, because it should have been much
Easier.
easier. I want to say, yeah, I think it should have been much easier. But then we said this as well, Dev. I mean, yes, we were wrong in our predictions when it comes to the score, but then Clasico is a Clasico, right? Clasico doesn't care about the form, doesn't care about our opinion, because we said, okay, Barca should be not breezing this, but Barca should be winning this, right? Like
And they
comfortable
should
winning.
have. And honestly, like, I
Yeah.
mean, Madrid wasn't that awesome. Like, but I don't know. I mean, the first 40, 45 minutes, I don't know what Madrid's game plan was. They were just very passive. We should have probably wrapped the match by then, but we didn't. The second half was just terrible from all parties. I mean, both teams were pretty atrocious, I would say. But a win is a win, so you take it and you run with it. We'll talk obviously about the red cards and the refereeing and the goals and Raphinha's impact and Lamine and everyone. But first trophy of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We did play well. In spells. I would say in spells of the game, we did play really well, and I liked what I saw. But then this Madrid side can't defend. They can't really attack apart from what they had one trick, right? And that trick worked quite well, I would say, against us. But that also tells you how bad we can be when defending as well. So that was Madrid's one thing, right? Barca are not great defenders, and that was proved tonight as well. And that right side or Madrid's left
Both,
side, that
both were
was
pretty
horrible.
bad. Both
Oh,
were
that
pretty
was that.
bad. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
what do we do with Koundé. I think he's been shaky all season. Kubarski also hasn't been in his impeccable form. I think the change, the adjustment hasn't happened in the back line for sure. And I mean, they were rinsed for the taking every time Vinicius had the ball. So the fullbacks are a problem, and we are probably. I mean, Cancelo is coming in. I don't know. We'll talk about how much he's going to impact that situation, but we do need some help on that defense.
Yeah, we do, and I don't know what's going to happen on that front because obviously, like I said, Cancelo he will come in, but he's not going to make this Barca better defensively, right? So it will be up to Flick to somehow. And we keep saying this, we keep saying this. Flick has to change the structure to enhance the defense, but I don't think that's happening, right? I think this what we see right now. This is what we're getting, right? Okay, Barca will live and die by their own philosophy, by Flick's strategy, by Flick's preferences, and I think this is what we're getting until the end of the season because Cancelo is obviously not going to change much on the defensive spectrum, and I don't think Flick will do a whole 180 in terms of defending. This is what we'll be defending like
You don't
the
even
rest
have
of
the
the season.
profiles. I mean, who do you like? It's Araujo. That's it. Christensen's off for the season. You don't really have players. We are not really buying players. We don't have the money. So, I mean, this is what we have for the rest of the season. It's just that I would like to know, like, but let's start with the obvious ones. Like, what was Madrid's game plan the first half? Tom, what do you make out of it? I felt they were very passive, sitting back.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was just weird.
it was weird. I was really trying very hard not to tweet that they're playing like a small team because
Yep.
that's what I felt like was happening in the first half, especially. But then you also have to understand that okay, they have this innate fear. Okay, Barca can score goals. If we do open up, if we take a little bit of risk, we risk getting demolished, and then Xabi Alonso risks getting sacked. So I think the game plan from their perspective, while it was not pretty, I think it kind of did make sense, right? Because Madrid, they have their issues in the build-up, they have their issues in attack, they have their issues in the press. So the only thing sensible that remains is sit deep and try and attract possession, attract Barca forward, and then hit them on the break. That's the only thing that was available. And given what they know about our defense, our high line, and about our weaknesses in terms of personnel, Koundé especially, I think the game plan was solid, right? It was okay. It wasn't exciting, and it wasn't really a big team kind of game plan, especially for a final in a classical. But I think anything else other than this likely gets Madrid demolished, right, against Barca at the moment. And I think a 3-2 result kind of speaks volumes,
Kind of
tells you,
proves the
okay,
fact that they did the right
yeah,
thing.
I think so. I think so. They kept the game close, and had they gone to penalties, I mean, it's anyone's
Yeah.
game, right? So I think from that perspective, yeah, it was a good plan. I would say that.
All right. So, okay. So that's how they set up. But let's then cut back to what we consistently saw in the first half, and that was, the lack of our ability to control the flanks or, control attacks on the flanks. And this has been going for a while. Kunde
Yeah.
hasn't been the best. What do you make of it? Is it a personnel thing? It's a form thing? Is it something else? What's your take?
For Kunde,
Yeah,
um, for Kunde, I would say it's like a mental, it's a high psychological thing. I would say he's been kind of in this downward spiral for a while now, and I think defending, yes, obviously physical attributes play a big part, but mentally, if you're not in it, especially against a winger like Vinicius, I just think that was the biggest factor for Koundé. And you are right. Now we're facing a big problem there. I think Cancelo could very well just push Koundé out of the lineup.
take
Yeah,
that place.
yeah, yeah. Because Cancelo, when he comes in, he has his tendency when he's very fresh and when he's very excited, when he's very fired up. He will perform at such a high level for a couple of months until he inevitably fizzles out. But
Mhm.
we
We only
only
need a
need
couple
him
of
to
months.
yeah, exactly. We only need a couple of months of Cancelo at the very highest level to put La Liga in the bag, help Lamine Yamal be the best that he can be, and then if Kunde is struggling, that's perfect for Cancelo and perfect for, well, not perfect for us, but it's a good opportunity to for our free transfer or loan signing. That's a very short term win now kind of signing, actually does this job and provides us with enough value. So I feel like from that perspective, Cancelo might just do the trick, not defensively, but then again, if he presses really well and if Barca focus on that front footed defending, which Cancelo can do, that's one way to mitigate Cancelo's defensive weaknesses. Now for Kunde, I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's a mental thing, I would say, but then there's a lot that's going wrong at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Kunde and Lamine were such a thing the last season. I mean, each one fed into the other and
Yeah,
really brought the best
yeah,
out in each, right? And that thing completely, that dynamic completely seems to have collapsed this season. I've not seen it. Not really sure what happened out there. And even if you look at Lamine, I mean, of course, his numbers speak for himself, but just from the eye test, it feels like his dribbling's been off for a while. Um, is kind of repetitive in what he does, and defenders know what they need to do to keep him under check, and there's obviously a couple of people always around him, and he
yeah.
hasn't been able to influence the games in the way. Yes, of course, there's a sudden pass or an assist that he will do, which is incredible, but taking the game and imposing himself hasn't happened for a while now. Is that because he lacks support? Is that because he needs to evolve himself? Is it a mixture of both? Because I definitely felt that he wasn't up to the races today.
I think yeah, it's a little bit of all of that what you said. I think teams are obviously finding ways or trying to invent ways to stop Lamine Yamal. Madrid always do this as well. They do double team him. Like it wasn't just Carreras; it was
Yeah,
Chouameni on him or Camavinga. Or Camavinga. It was Camavinga. I think constantly doubling him up. So it was difficult for him. But I think he was making quite a lot of mess in Madrid's half as well. I think he was being proactive, and a lot of the good things from Barca came from Lamine in the first half, especially. The second half, I think there were more than just one player influencing that our attack. But in the first half, I think Lamine did a lot of good for Barca, especially. Now, is it an injury thing? Is it a form thing? Is it a Koundé thing? I think it's definitely a Koundé thing as well. Because when Koundé, to your point, when Koundé was really good and when he was gelling with Lamine Yamal, that was telepathic. They were just making each other better.
better.
Lamine obviously makes everyone better around himself, but Koundé was doing a really good job of helping Lamine shine as well. And I thought that was really, really good from him. And I thought that partnership was better than anything we had in terms of Ford potentially coming in instead of Koundé, or I don't know, Eric coming instead of Koundé. I think Koundé had the most synergy with Lamine out of all our right backs.
Absolutely.
Now I don't see that edge in Koundé anymore, unfortunately.
Which is very surprising because if you remember, like last season, there were so many times that he would bomb forward or he would, make that position, or Lamine would track back, or he would release Lamine, and they would create the kind of havoc on the right flank, which has been missing for a while.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's a little bit blunted. It seems like a little bit blunted. But let's talk about the other things. Obviously, referees and red cards will always be talked about.
Yeah.
Frankie de Jong
Yeah.
probably deservedly got the red, but shouldn't Asensio and Valverde been off as well?
Yeah, I think Frankie's tackle was a red card.
It
At
was.
first, I was like, oh, he got the ball. He got the ball. No, he didn't get the ball.
No, it is.
That was studs were up, and that was a clear red card, which is a shame. Which is a shame. But before I talk about Frankie, I want to ask Van Lee. Van Lee, what did you think about Frankie De Jong's game tonight? I want to see what he said. I want to see what he says before I go on to my rant again. But yeah, nice to see you there, Van Lee. We're back, Devin. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, yes, I think the ref was kind of having. I don't know what kind of a game he was having. It was just a couple of things, especially yes with Carreras. You're right. I think there was a couple of not just a couple of there was a lot of instances where I felt like okay, no ref, just show a card, do something, help us because yeah, it was. But then if you did, then we would be Negreira, Negreira, Negreira.
Oh
Then
yeah.
I don't know. We can't win.
Well, let's take this comment. Yes, Moise, we're not saying that, or I'm not saying that Lamine Yamal's associated play isn't good. It's great. It's just that, like, if we compare last season, the amount that he could do solo, or the way he could take on, or dribble, or create that, I think that has kind of not been as effective. But sure, he's an incredibly intelligent player. So 100%, his associated play is amazing. I mean, if you think about that pass he made to Raphinha, the first pass, I mean, we didn't score the goal, but one shot, I mean, any other day, Rafinha scores that goal and we're one up, right? So there'll be moments like that with Lamine 100%. And then Dom also said that, there were a lot of attacks that he channeled in. But where I feel like his ability, his superpower was at dribbling, his superpower was cutting in and unleashing that shot. And that has been happening for a while. And that's just what we were talking about. That's all. All right, Manly, what does he say? Manly says, lack of height exposed for the Gonzalo goal. See question below. Which question is below? I can't see anything.
Um, Yeah, I'm not sure what he means, but yes, lack of height, but also there was a lot of luck in that goal. I feel like,
It
I
was
mean,
a bad
yeah,
defending, really bad
yeah,
defending.
yeah. It was our box defending in general is
It's
this is
terrible.
yeah, it's terrible. This is what it is. It's shambles. It's very sloppy. It can get very chaotic the very worst way imaginable, and then of course that Real Madrid going to score like that.
No, so I mean, I think we'll talk about the defense. I think both the goals that we conceded, of course, like I think there were defensive lapses on both. But what was strange was the immediacy, and this I think is something that we need to work on. Like we had got the lead twice. It was like immediately we conceded on the counter, and that is something that Flick will have to think about because today, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, it wasn't the best Madrid. This wasn't the best Clasico of all the Clásicos. It was quite a, whatever. But I think those are obvious things that came out. But that also said, I mean, I was worried till the end that Madrid are going to equalize, and then it goes to penalties. So I was very happy when 97 minutes, 3-2, we got it out of it, like super happy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The same here. I mean, had it gone to penalties, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, we do have Joan Garcia who's on fire. He did concede 2 goals tonight, but I think I don't know if he could have done more on either of those goals. To be honest with you, Joan Garcia, I
Well,
think he yeah.
yeah, Van Lee has responded. I think Frankie was defensively great today, and I think one more person is there who said the same thing. So yeah, I mean, seems like Tom, the fan base is aligned with you today at least on Frankie's.
Finally, yeah, finally, yeah. No, I mean, yes, he was. I think he was untouchable today. To be honest with you guys, not just defensive wise, passing, they just couldn't keep up with him. Even off the ball, the way that he moves, the way that he drags players, just you didn't see much of him. And that's the beauty of it. I think that's what the fan base wants from him. I mean, yeah, part of the fan base wants him to make these very highlight ready plays, but also when he pulls the strings like today, I think it's just he's untouchable. And that's what it is. But yeah, I think Lamine Yamal should have done better for Frankie's red card. I think Lamine did a lot of. I mean, he should. I don't know. He should have done better. And then the red card would not would not
Wouldn't
have
have
happened.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, those things, happen in the heat of the moment. It's like
yeah, yeah,
microseconds. You can hardly define that, upfront. So
yeah.
those things happen. I don't know the rule. Like if Frankie gets a red card in this one, does he not play next year's Super Cup, or it has impact on
See,
La Liga
no,
or Champions League? Where does it impact his playing? I don't know the rules. I will have to
no
check that
idea,
out. I'll
no
better check
idea.
that out.
Honestly,
Well,
honestly.
we got one in the bag, and obviously with the full strength team. What about Rafinha? What a performance again!
Yeah, I know, I know. I mean, when it's crunch time, Rafinha performs. He performs most of the time, I want to say. But then these kinds of games, finals, big games, decisive games, Rafinha will show up. And then he misses that one sitter, and then immediately scores the next. Yeah, I mean that was ridiculous. I mean, that's what we keep saying about Rafinha. See, the first chance that he missed was arguably much easier than the one
Easier,
that he
much
scored.
easier
Yeah,
than everything else that he put in.
so that's he's a bit of an enigma that way because he will score these unlikeliest goals and he will make it look easy, and that's part of what makes him so special. I think.
Yeah, but that was amazing. I think the refereeing decisions, Asensio's. Do you feel like yes, Barca deserved a red card, but Madrid also deserved one? We generally don't talk about refereeing, but so what?
Mm. Yeah, yeah, I know. It felt like the ref kind of was losing the grip of the game as it was, going later and later in the game itself. I don't know. I just said that we don't really talk about refs that much, but yes, it felt like maybe a couple of calls should have gone our way a bit more. But then, of course, I would say that I'm a Barca fan. But yeah, I think
Yeah, I mean,
that's
we
just
will
how
be
it is.
biased, so it will be good to hear. But it feels just like from the eye test, it was seems a bit off at times or weird at times. Let's talk about this is a question that Van Lee has put in. Let's put it out there. Categories: leadership, pure defending,
Wow.
passing, and system fit. Can you guys rank Bastoni, Schlotterberg, and Van de Ven in each category? Each one is 190 centimeter.
Wow.
Leadership, pure defending, passing, and system fit. Wow, that's a tough one, Wendy. I don't know how we can do this on this show, but we can definitely think about this and write an article. Probably, like really look at the data, and it's a good story, honestly. If you had to do it in that way, so thanks for giving us a great idea. But Dom, why don't you go ahead and then I'll share my thoughts.
Um, Schlotterbeck is the best in passing. Bastoni is kind of he's also an excellent passer, but he carries the ball a lot, so he's kind of a double threat that way. But I think Schlotterbeck has the best passing out of them. System fit. I don't know about Van de Ven. See, I don't have. I've not watched him as much. So I can't really say. But between these two guys, I would give both passing and system fit to Schlotterbeck. Pure defending. Schlotterbeck is quite good, but he has a brain fart moment. I don't know. See, I would take. I would. How about this? I will give you my ranking in terms of who I would say. I would say Schlotterbeck, Bastoni, and Van de Ven. That's how I would rank them. Leadership, I don't know honestly. I'm not sure how to even rank them in leadership, but
Okay.
definitely, yeah. I
I
don't
would
know.
possibly agree with you. I think in terms of ranking, I would go with Soderbergh, Bastoni, and then Van de Ven. But I think leadership wise, I would put Bastoni on. He's got that thing. He's got that energy about him, and you can see that on the field. So probably that. Pure defending. I think for Flick's Barca, I mean, this is not Inter. This is Flick, and the way we play is different. I think actually Soderbergh can be relevant for us with everybody else that we
Yeah,
have. That's all I'm saying. Also, I'm deeply practical about how much money that we have and can we actually afford a Bastoni. Don't know.
yeah,
Dom's point on passing and carrying is absolutely right. I think Bastoni carries a lot, and we have ball carriers. We really have ball carriers. So do we need another one? Right from the defense? Don't know. But obviously, either of them will be incredible. I don't think we're getting either of them with the money that we have. So that's a question. And then, I mean, even if we get back to 1:1 in the summer, Dom, we possibly have 100 million max, and we got to get one signing, and Lever's gone. Who do you buy? I mean, is it a striker? Is it a fullback? Is it a defender? Which hole do you plug in? It's a really like we always write about who's we write about these articles all the time about who will be most relevant and all of that stuff. But practically speaking, Dom, when you think about it, like, what would you go for?
Well, if Lewandowski's gone and we don't get someone like Vlahovic on a free, obviously nothing in football is free, so Vlahovic would probably come with a hefty wage, probably. But then if we can get one of those players, one of those positions covered with a free transfer, that's kind of up there in quality because Vlahovic is a good player, right? If you get him on a free transfer, that's a good deal, right? Obviously depends on the wages, but let's say that's a good deal. Then you can spend a bit more on a center back. Now, if we weren't if I had to choose between those two and Lewandowski was gone, oh, hmm,
I don't know.
I don't know,
Should we
I don't
do?
know.
Should we go with a striker? Or I don't know, whatever striker is available. I don't know if many of them are available, but
Yeah, that's the
or do
thing.
we
Then
go with the fullback? Because I mean, we get rinsed on that flank every time. Absolutely
we
rinsed.
We do, yeah. And then I'm not sure if Flick would be happy with Eric playing on the right back position instead of Koundé, and then having Araujo back potentially because we saw him back. He is back apparently. Now for how long he will be back, that we don't know, obviously. But I think Ferran Torres cannot be starting striker for Barcelona either. That's for me. That's a big problem as well. If we are all about attacking, then it will make sense to buy a striker. But then there's the other side of the argument, which is Flick's tactics amplify goal scoring to such an extent that you can potentially get away with it with having Ferran Torres and maybe Dani almost false line or something like that, or Raphinha as a number 9. Maybe that we could get away with that in Flick's system. Maybe not for the Champions League, but for La Liga, you could maybe squeeze out a La Liga title with that lineup. But I don't know. I think both those positions, of all three of those positions, need to be covered very soon.
Yeah, I think those they're concerning. I mean, I was really worried about the flanks. Like, they bypassed us at will. I mean, we do score goals. I mean, goals aren't the problem. We have been scoring goals, boatloads, all of them. And it's not that Lewandowski is scoring a ton of them this season, but we have been
Yep.
scoring. So I think we can manage. But the defense and then the fullback situation really, really needs, I don't know, some sort of
Yeah,
intervention,
yeah,
I
yeah,
would say, because
yeah,
it looks worrying, and against really good teams who are, and I wouldn't say Madrid were at the top of their form at all. So if you come against a really, really tight team, Barca is going to find it difficult. They're going to find it difficult. All right, can you discuss our inability to close down tight games, even first halves at times? I wouldn't say we like. I do think we do close down. I do think we are pretty good at coming back and winning. Um, but yes, it is true. Sometimes, after taking the initiative, we might lose concentration and concede immediately. So that does happen. I wouldn't say that it doesn't happen. Um, I don't know. It's a combination of things. First of all, I don't think Flick has got the backline that he wanted this season. He has constantly said that openly. It's just that we don't have anything else. Like, we don't have the money to make those changes. So he's making do with what we have for his style of playing, and that is affecting the team and the performance. So that's that. If you look into last year, it was a much slightly better. Right, that's all I would say. Flick's teams probably will always go with less of defense and more of attack, and that's their style of playing. So I think that's one. And the second is, I think there is some sort of we do have lapses in concentration. I don't know how a coach can fix that, but I do think that immediately after we take the initiative, there have been many instances, especially where we possibly, like, you shouldn't concede a goal at the brink of halftime. You just should do whatever you can to just not let that happen. But it happens with us. So yeah, your point is there. But Tom, any thoughts?
I think it has a lot to do with how quickly can we score. Because if we don't score quickly and if we don't immediately pile on top of the advantage, that's how you get those tight games. Barca a very momentum based team, and especially under Hansi Flick. And that's when we scored the first goal against Madrid. I was like, okay, now the floodgates are going to open and we're going to just score two, three more goals. But then Real Madrid did the best thing possible. They equalized very quickly and then they equalized again. They went down. And that's the best way to counter that because you can't, if you're just going to hold on and try and hold on against a Barca that just scored a goal against, no, you're
Yeah.
not going to do that. Likely, you're going to concede 2 or 3 goals very, very quickly. So I think that's it for Barca. It's momentum. and then how the other team reacts to that, or to our momentum, to the shift of momentum, that usually defines the game. And then, yes, to Dev's point, we do have these lapses in defense, which do take away from that momentum, because that's one way to snuff it out, is to score a goal against us, and it's not that difficult at times, which is a problem.
Our set piece defending is poor, and without Lever, Rashi, Araujo, we have no players above. Absolutely. I mean, when you have your defense, and that's Eric Garcia, Kubarsi, it will be feast for 6 foot plus strikers who are box crashing. So it is just what it is. And we don't have the right defensive profile, 100%. I think, I don't know how much Araujo will be contributing to this season. I don't know, to be honest. Hopefully he will play and he will have some contribution. And if he does, then yes, Lewandowski is good when he is patrolling the area. But this is a problem for us. And the solution to this problem is not Rashford. The solution to this problem is that we need the right defenders. And we unfortunately don't have that right now. And people and teams do take advantage of that from that perspective.
Yeah, I think height really comes into play in certain phases of the game. For Barca, for most of the game, you don't need big and strong players. Yes, you maybe need a focal number 9 who can play with his back to goal. Maybe you need defenders, obviously, and you need your goalkeeper. So Joan Garcia adds to our, or detracts from our height problems a little bit, because he commands the box really well.
Yeah.
But then you do need someone there who can actually tussle
Take
and
the
bustle
first
with
corner,
the.
take the second corner. I mean, we don't have those players like Suarez. He was very good at the first corner. Like he would, So we don't have that, and that does affect us 100%. And it's no point blaming Kubarsi and Eric Garcia for it, because
No, you
they just
can't
can't
blame
help
them.
it. It's just not their thing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but unfortunately, that's our defense, and so it is going to be a weakness that many teams are going to exploit, especially in the Champions League. Inter did it last season, and we all know it. So the answer is probably getting the right profiles. And unfortunately, I don't think we are going to get the right profiles anytime soon, given our financial situation. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
more than likely. Yeah.
All right, there's another one. Hi, you can answer. I asked Dom this last week. I think we signed a
Oh yeah.
striker, winger, and CB. Too cheap and one expensive. Rashford already signed as cheap winger. Will a striker or a CB be cheap? I don't think anything will be cheap. But I mean, think about. I was just looking at numbers of Rooney Baji today, right? Not elite, but he's quite good actually. What he's doing. So if you can find the right profiles who are not flashy but can do the job, and as a collective you create many more opportunities, because that's what Flick's system does, then yes, I mean you can like Eta Young, we've heard about him many times. Can Eta Young be very decisive in this system? Probably yes. If you have people who are feeding him and creating the system in chances, maybe yes. So yes, there are things like that can happen. But I mean, you're Barca. You cannot plan for the next 10 years in that manner. You need to have a franchisee player. There's a more to do with just a striker. Lewandowski was a franchisee buy. That's as simple as that. You need one player like that, correct? For branding and so on and so forth. And we don't have that. We just don't have it after Lever goes. Maybe Raphinha, but I don't know. Raphinha's PR isn't the best. So while he's very effective, I don't think he's got the PR, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So that's challenge. But I think, yeah, we do need a franchisee signing here or there. It's needed from a lot of like full-time, long-term planning, brand, where you want to position yourself and so on. Rashford, cheap winger, 30 million. Don't know. Is it really cheap? And is he the right person? I still don't think so, but he's doing well. And are there many other opportunities in the market? Probably no. But the thing is, I mean, and we can be wrong, but my calculation says about 100 million is what people have. If we get back is to 100 mil. 100 mil, I don't think we can sign all three. It's just impossible in this market. But Dom, I don't know what answer. I wasn't there. What was your take on this?
I don't remember what exactly I said. Laila, maybe you can remind me. But I think between those two, I don't think there's many. I just said the franchise type forwards who are cheap, right? So I would say we will likely splash the cash from strikers, or the striker would be more expensive just by the nature of the position, because there's no cheap and elite strikers out there. I mean, Bastoni and Schotterbeck, which are the two biggest names that we keep hearing, are not cheap either. Let me get this out of the way
What about
immediately.
60 mil easily? They're
Yeah,
60 to 80
yeah,
mil.
yeah, and that's very, very expensive for a center back, for a defender in general. But then strikers, they go 60 million minimum, right? That's kind of the lowest bar for a striker. So I would say if I had to predict between these two, who will be the cheaper one? Probably center back. I mean,
Yeah,
I
probably
don't
centre
know.
back.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you can still find very effective centre backs in La Liga who are very strong in their game. They might not be flashy, you might not know them, but they're very strong in their fundamentals, and you can get them from La Liga. So a CB might be the cheapest option. It won't be flashy like a Bastoni, but it will do the job. Like they're very good central defenders in La Liga. Many of the, the 5 to 20 ranking
yeah,
teams, there are lots of very good center defenders out there whom you can take. So yeah, that is option. Wingers, I don't think you get that cheap. I also don't think, given Barca and what Barca will look into from a branding perspective, also, I don't think it'll be cheap at all. And also, like agents, when they come, they're going to make the most of it. They also know, right? So it's a mixed thing. But yeah, it's not going to be easy at all. Going into, I think we have 2 more years before we can, yeah, fundamentally think about splashing the cash really. And I mean, if it's working and we are delivering results, why spend? It's okay. I mean, I'm so happy that, in the top 30, we don't have apart from Lewandowski, we don't have a player on
yeah.
wages
That's good.
anymore.
Mm,
We don't.
mm.
We're just like, and we were number one. So kudos to Laporta, Deco, whatever. I mean, we can disagree with them, but they've really cut this down to a large extent, and the results are happening. I mean, it's fine. We are enjoying the football. We're winning trophies. It's all right.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's the best thing because we're not spending, but we're still delivering results. I mean, that's insane. Not many teams out there in the top of the top can say the same thing. So yes, I would. Yeah, I would.
Virgil is good, I would say. Yes, I like him, and I liked whatever little I've seen of him in the other games. It's not that I watch all the games, but sometimes I do. So he's good. He's got potential. Now, is he way better than Rashford? Can he deliver when it matters? Not really sure. Is it even a competition between him and Rashford? That also I'm not really sure. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely an option to exercise if you need to.
Yeah, yeah, I would. I don't know. At this moment in time, I don't see him that close to the first team. To be honest with you guys, Rashford is just kind of a completely different player. And tonight you saw what Rashford can be, but then he should be burying some of those chances. That's number one. I think he just go for it. He doesn't go for it enough. And then when it comes to his final third movement, he does a lot well, and then he doesn't move too many. Again, tonight, again, one move too many, and the whole attack falls apart. Just he should keep it simple. If you are in a position, just go and try and shoot. If you're close to the goal, cut inside. Brilliant. You've done 90% of the job. Just shoot because Rashford's ball striking is insanely good. So he needs to keep it very, very simple, and he will have much better results at Barcelona.
Yeah, I mean, he was lucky today. I mean, he should have scored a goal today. He
Yeah,
should have. He didn't. But any other day, you would take your bets with Rashford that he would concede. He would convert that one, right? So again, until the end of the season, we don't know. Most of the like decisions will be made at that time, in the crunch times. We're 19 games in, 19 are still left in La Liga. We're in good position. Champions League, we don't really know what's happening out there. We've got one trophy. Copa del Rey is going to come in. So I mean, Rashford has to constantly show up for the next 6 months, and then yes, there is always the chance that he can be brought in. But 30 million is a lot when your kitty is only 100 million, right? So when you have 100 million kitty and you spend 30 million in one player, you've nothing left for any other big signing, and so on and so forth. So I don't think we can be so confident on what that will be in the end of the season. We'll get to know, but I think Eric should have placed as the RCB so that he should have been against Vinny against instead of Kubarsi. But Kubarsi was very good against Vinny last season. So I don't know whether it's yes, tactically you do make up sense. There's logic maybe. Um, but I don't know. It was all of them. I think I just think that the defense is not synchronized at all. At all. We do manage somehow, but I don't think it's against Whether it's Kunde, whether it's Kubarsi, whether it's Eric, I think we knew that Vinny is there. The whole team knows that Vinny, and everybody knows that that's how Vinny plays. But he beat us on at will every single time. So would it have changed massively? I don't know. Maybe a little bit, but would it have really, really made a big difference? Not really sure.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think so. Overall, I think no one in our squad, apart from Araujo, well, on his good day, does well against Vinny Junior. I think it wouldn't have made much of a difference. But Koundé, yes, he is obviously struggling very much, and that added to the problem. But then overall, yes, I agree with the sentiment that we don't really have defenders or pure defenders to deal with Vinny anyway. So I think, yes, from that perspective, not much would have changed.
And yes, I mean, we're talking about those effective defender options from La Liga, and Pau Torres is one. We have heard about him many times. No, Mendy is another one. I think there are a few more. I mean, if you really go, if you look into Osasuna, if you look into Getafe, if you look into all these teams, you'll find really solid defenders out there who can make a difference, who are like absolutely, they're good. They're good at holding a block. They're good at doing the basics right. um, but I mean, are we going that way? We're not. So much will depend on, first of all, election, the results. What happens for the season? How many trophies we win? Where do we end up with Camp Nou? So a lot of these will come in that decision. But for the next 6 months, I think this is what we have. I think that's not changing at all. I mean, and whatever we want to win, we have to win with this. That's basically it. Cancelo will come in. And as Dom said, hopefully he plays with energy for the first 2 months and we get the best of Cancelo, and that can be fun. But beyond that, I think this is what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is, and yeah, it all depends on what the striker situation is. If we're gonna splash on a striker, that will definitely be the more expensive option. But I think if we do go for someone like Vlahovic who is free, that would potentially open us up for a more expensive centre back signing, which would then we would look at the more expensive options there, obviously. But I do think that if Lewandowski leaves, Barca will try and spend a bit more money on the number nine. But we'll
Probably,
see.
I would
Maybe I'm
agree with that. Yeah. Okay. Yes. This one's interesting because we also read the same thing that Bernal. The thing about Bernal being on loan, and I think it makes sense because I don't think he's going to get that many chances to play. That's just how I feel. He may get some rotational, 15 minutes at the end, but I think for him to develop his game, he needs to go and play, honestly. And then he can be someone really important for Barcelona in time to come, and is young enough. So I think a loan to Girona would make absolute sense. It worked wonders for Eric. It can work
yeah,
very
yeah.
good for him for the second half of the season. Instead of bench warming here, he'll actually pick up good experience. I think that's really a good decision if he actually goes. Rashford 30 million, as I said, I'm still not sure. That's all. He's good. I like him. I like him. He's good, but I'm not sure. That's all. But Dom, your thoughts?
On Bernal, it all depends on how Flex sees him at the moment. Because if he's gonna play and get not significant minutes, but enough minutes this season from now until the rest of the season, then yes, he can stay. But obviously, if this is all that we're getting from Bernal, so bits and pieces, couple minutes here, couple minutes there, doesn't make much sense to keep him. I would obviously love to keep him at the club if he's gonna play, but if he's not gonna play, it doesn't make sense. On Rashford, depends on the role that he will be given. You can't expect him to displace Raphinha or anyone in the starting lineup, but there is a rotation piece. I don't know, 30 million is quite a lot of money for us at the moment.
Rotation, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I really like Rashford. I think that he will always give you something. He will always give you output, and that matters a lot, especially for a player coming off the bench. To come off the bench and almost guarantee you something in return, that's massive. So it depends on those things.
All right, let's take this. Survive in Australia, Twitter is banned. Yeah, man. I mean, it can
Huh.
happen, and they're talking about it. So, but thankfully, I mean, we host this on Restream, so even if Twitter's banned, we'll be on
Yeah,
YouTube or whatever. The blog will constant, and then Dom is in Scotland, so he can obviously manage it. We can
yeah.
work things out, or VPN, as you rightly pointed out. So we'll figure out something. Or other platforms like Blue Sky is there, whatever. I mean, these things. I mean, yeah. I mean, these with tech, these changes will happen. It's political, so no point thinking about it. But it is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Or as long as it lasts, it's fine. We'll use it for now. and so on. All right, Rashford was poor at tracking Kula, which led to the cutback to Carras and the save by John Garcia for 30 minutes. It's great, but he needs to improve on his defending tracking. He doesn't defend. That's just it's just what it is. I don't think he's a defender. I don't think he'll be a defender tomorrow. I think his contribution is, as Dom said, he comes off the bench and immediately gives you solutions, and that's why he's effective. I don't think he's going to improve defending. But Dom,
No, he's not. No, he's not. I think sometimes he does show that there's willingness, there's energy. Not always, but sometimes he does really go in and he tries to make a tackle, tries to press, tries to be very aggressive and very proactive. But he doesn't do it smartly because pressing is not just to running around like a headless chicken. That's the worst kind of pressing. He doesn't really curve his runs. He doesn't really time his runs with the rest of the teammates. And I think those things are the bigger issues than just his lack of willingness
I would say,
to
yeah.
press. Yeah,
I would say
that's
so.
what I say.
Cancelo is fit and ready to play the Copa del Rey. Koundé needs to be benched for a run of games. I think, yeah, Koundé can do a little bit of time on the sidelines. I don't know whether it's a mentality thing or something else, but he looks a little bit sluggish, looks a little bit off. And he can do better because we have seen him for 3 seasons and he's been miles better. Like last season, he was way better than this. So something's obviously happening, and maybe it will help him if, if it's. But again, Cancelo isn't also that dependable. That's just what it is. I mean, he's great and he's fun and he's a very big fan of the club. So you like seeing that passion, but I don't think is he that dependable? Nah, don't really think so. But don't.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? He will. You know what you'll get from Cancelo, right? We know exactly why what he will do on the pitch. We know exactly what kind of an influence he can have when he's on form and when he's playing to his best of his abilities. But then, yes, defensively, he won't fix the structure. He won't fix the pressing. He won't really fix um, our defending inside of the box, which is one of the biggest weaknesses that we have. So from that perspective, I wouldn't really expect a revolution when it comes to Cancelo. He can tilt certain games in Barca's favor, which is big, still big. He can unlock Lamine Yamal. They two can have a massive partnership on the right side of the pitch. He can cover multiple positions. So there are very good things about Cancelo, but defending and especially in the box and especially deep
Mhm.
defending, not one of those things.
Absolutely. All right, let's look at some of the game stats. I mean, Pedri 7.1, Lewandowski 7.1, Frankie de Jong 7.3, 9.6 for Raphinha, 8.1 for Lamine Yamal. I would say, yeah, I mean, the ratings look okay. John Garcia with 8.7 for all the saves that he made. So, yeah, ratings stand up. Anything that stands out, Dom, for you?
Jean Garcia, let's see. Oh, Balde, that's very low for Balde.
Very bad.
I
Seriously.
wouldn't, I didn't expect that to be honest. I
And I
don't
don't know
think it
how
was.
Koundé has
Yeah,
got 7.3. I really think
exactly.
he's quite bad today.
I honestly, I don't know how they calculate those scores, those ratings, but no, Balde being that low or being the worst player on the pitch, I wouldn't have gone that far. The best performance, Lamine, Rafinha, and Jean Garcia. Rafinha definitely. Yamal was really good. He was, but the best performers, I don't know. Jean Garcia made quite a few saves, but they were all kind of easy saves. But maybe
Easy.
that has to do with him also being positioned well and having this gravity inside the area as well. So I think, yeah, partly that's on him, but also the saves that he made would not, he didn't have to be super heroic today as much, I would say.
Let's talk about Madrid's bench a little bit. I mean, they brought in Mastantuono, they have brought in Guler, but they haven't had really the impact that we thought after spending so much money, don't you think, Dom? Like Hussein is playing, okay, so he's obviously has got game time. Is he really setting the stage on fire? Not really sure. Mbappe is like they spent a lot of money on getting these replacements, but have they been? Yeah, has it worked, Dom?
No, no, I don't think so. Especially in a larger collective sense, where you do have individuals who are performing, but as a collective, they're just not clicking, or maybe they've not adjusted to what Xabi Alonso wants them to do. I don't know. Maybe that's the case as well, because Xabi Alonso wants order, he wants structure, he wants the team to tick in a certain way. And Madrid are not used to being so controlled. I would say they do like to do things their own way, and the players get their freedom. The stars get their freedom. So maybe that's a part of it. That was all about. Obviously, I think he was injured for I don't know how long. Kylian Mbappe tonight, obviously, he didn't really give Madrid much, fortunately, but we know what he can do. Mastantuono, I think he has some bright moments here and there, but none of these guys have been game breaking for Madrid, apart
But
from
look at the
obviously.
costs. I mean, Arda Güler, Masantuono, they're about 160, 180, 200 million, right? With all the Enric was another 60, 70. He's gone to Marseille or somewhere. The latest string of acquisitions that Madrid did, and they spent a significant
Yeah.
amount of money in doing them, have they really panned out?
Yeah. Yeah, not as much as they would have loved to. Yeah, I mean, obviously Mbappe was quote unquote free, right, when he was brought in, but and he's scoring goals. Obviously, this isn't what 30 goals or something. That's incredible. But the rest of them, yeah, Huijsen was about 60 million. I think Carreras was how much? 30, 40, 50 million, something like that. I don't know. But Antonio 45 million. Where's Trent? Trent's been injured for
He's been
ages. I
injured
feel
for
like.
ages. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's because with Trent, I think defensively, obviously, he has his moments, but attacking wise, with these runners up front, Trent would have been great, and especially for Barca because we can't really defend those dead balls that or those deliveries that Trent can do. So I think, yeah, to your point, not many of these have been as game breaking as Madrid would have loved them to be. Obviously, yeah.
That's what I felt. Okay, let's look at some player stats before. I mean, Raphinha, like great numbers out there. John Garcia, great numbers. Vinicius Jr. Vinicius, again, but it's worrisome that he has not been scoring goals. Today, yes, but generally, overall, he has been kind of missing in action, right?
Mm. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I mean, looking at these numbers, uh, let's see what else. I don't know. I think I'm trying to see what stands out of all these numbers. We're looking at Rafinha. Who are we looking at? Sorry, I got lost for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, here duels obviously three out of
Yeah,
nine, one ground
yeah,
duels 3 out of 9. So not that, but let's look at attacking. Same. I
yeah,
think overall, if I look at the match stats from this perspective, this is a better view of it. So you can
yeah,
see they had chances, Madrid did compared to Barca. This is worrisome. They had a lot of chances, which they didn't, close out, and that is something that we talked about as well. And that's
yeah,
because defense hasn't been the best overall. If you look into it, a lot of dead ball. We talked about the dead ball situation, and that
yeah,
teams will take advantage, and you can see that here, right? Tackles, free kicks, again, dead ball situations. So obviously
yeah,
there was a plan to attack the dead ball situation because Barca's defenders are short and all of that stuff, and that was strategy, but didn't work out for today. But they scored their big chances, and they had more big
yeah.
chances than we had. So while we had possession and so on, but I don't think we created that much today. The creativity was a little bit stunted. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for spells of the game, we did have possession and didn't do much with it. I would agree, but then I didn't feel inferior to Madrid in any part of the game either, which doesn't say much because Madrid have not really been great at all. But overall, I think I do think that we were the better team, despite them having these big chances on paper. I still think that we controlled the game fairly well, and this should have been much easier than it was in the end. But that's just classical for you in the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I would completely agree with you on that. So yeah,
Yeah,
back to where we are. I think
yeah.
what we should congratulate and be happy about is that we got it in the bag.
Oh yeah,
Nobody has done it back to back. I think since 2011 or something like that. So which is great to have the first trophy of the season. The flick journey continues, the relevancy continues, and so on. There's some questions here. Let's take one last one, and then we
yeah. One
can
more,
sign
yeah,
off.
maybe one more, yeah.
You think we can squeeze 80 million for Furman to consolidate a loaded squad? Bernal and Gavi will have huge roles next year, team crowded. I would keep Furman. I like him. I don't know. Maybe I'm sentimental. Tom?
Well, sometimes we do have to think about transfer and in a less sentimental way, but we are as we are. I mean, we do like those players, and Fetterman is a very useful player. I mean, he does things that not many other players in the team do at the moment, and he has a lot of value. but also Barca need to be better at being ruthless and saying, okay, this is the peak of this player. We can get the most value out of him right now. Let's sell him.
Let's take
Right?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's take it. So maybe there is something to discuss there, Van Lee. I think it would be necessary. Like someone will have to leave. Right? We can't just not sell anyone because of the situation that we are in financially. But it's going to
Well,
be
Xavi
very
goes to Premier League as a coach because that's what they're saying he will. God knows. But if he does, you can expect a couple of players here and there to make their way. I
maybe.
would strongly think that it will happen because he has that magnetism, he has that thing. So okay, that's all, guys. It was good. Thank you for joining as always, and it was great. And I savored this one because it was a I don't know, it was a weird match. It definitely wasn't the best of those classicals that you remember for years to come. It was a iffy affair and it wasn't clean, but we got it done. We got the job done. We got the trophy. We're back home. I think nothing can be better than that. So that's it from me. Dominic, final thoughts before we sign off?
No, just guys be happy because this is a big step towards our season panning out exactly the way we would love it to pan out, because that's the same thing we did last year, right? Win the SuperCopa and then that sets you up for the future or for the rest of the season, and hopefully we end the season as well as last year, but then maybe better than last year. We'll see. I mean, very difficult to do that, but we'll see what happens. And yes, keep an eye on the blog because we'll be very active on the blog moving forward for this season. We are aiming to do more, do better, and be more consistent. So keep an eye on that. Subscribe if you can. Keep following us on X as well, and we will be back with these live sessions every week after any Barca game, essentially.
That's it, guys. So thank you. Thanks for joining us. And Dom, see you again in the next one. And take care. Stay safe. And Visca Barca.
Barca. Oh, right, still live.